Oh, perfect. Okay, lovely. So I'm going to lead the Guru Puja, the Lama Chopa, which is Rinpoche's copy. And again, I keep sort of, because I forget Rinpoche's copy, I have to use Alexander Berzin's copy, this and that, and which I absolutely love. I'm sort of a fan of the old stuff. But today we'll use the copy that Rinpoche has. And again, it's all visualization, so you don't have to read. You can just sit there, sort of have your eyes half closed and do the visualization. I will do the puja for you. You don't have to. So I just wanted, we haven't done sort of, it won't be the entire puja, but it's going to be most of it here. We'll just focus a little bit on the visualizations and stuff. Good. Okay. So let's just take a moment just to relax here and just make sure everybody's muted. Okay. That's good. Okay, perfect. So let's just visualize that we're in a wide open space. Again, the classic thing we always say is that we're in sort of like a wide open plain. The ground is like lapis lazuli, where it's beautiful blue and soft to touch, warm and easy to sit on. So again, within this wide open space, we can put everybody in it. So if we're in this sort of big, almost like concert environment where we're surrounded by, you know, all these people on either side of us, or like I say, an outdoor festival, you have this sort of sense of vastness and just numbers of beings around you. So in this case, it's all sentient beings without exception. If we are interconnected with everybody, then literally we can sort of set things up in our mind where we're connected to all sentient beings. That's the case, everything counts and everything can help. I'd like to also dedicate today to passing or peri-nirvana of Thich Nhat Hanh yesterday. Very, very sad. I know he was elderly and he had a stroke a few years ago. But obviously that he's just been an unbelievable bright light. I don't think any of us could think of Buddhism in the world, let alone Western Buddhism, without him. Him always bringing things back sort of in a Zen way to mindfulness of the breath and a love of all sentient beings and a love of life. And I think we've talked about it before, but we can also think of that wonderful term he coined, interbeing, his commentary on the Heart Sutra and Emptiness, the sense that everything is interpenetrating or interrelated, I guess you could say. So interbeing, sort of a word we can have in our mind, a concept we can have in our mind as we do this visualization. So our mother on our left, father on our right, people we love the most behind us as support, people we like the least in front of us as objects of compassion. And we can feel it sort of moving out from there, just everybody else we know, people at work, people in our neighborhood, people even in our city. These are the people we're sort of more karmically connected with in other places. And then all human beings throughout the world, different cultures, places, backgrounds, we can feel they're all here. We can feel sort of countless beyond number of animal beings, beings in the animal realm. So we can just think of little tiny bugs and microbes all the way up to big mammals and birds and so forth. Sort of the whole Gaia, I guess, connection we have to the earth and all species within it. And we can just feel that, as always, we're sending them our love and our healing energy, because there's the animal realm is so often the victim of our sort of techno-capitalist consumer culture nowadays, where we're polluting and poisoning everything. And so we can just feel for a moment, we can just sort of send out a healing energy, really bring all that in our hearts for our Dharma practice today. Different gods, celestial beings, gods, demigods. These can be sort of local gods or gods sort of beyond time and space. We could say in the formless and form realm, different sort of celestial beings, demigods, you know, beings like Gandharvas and so forth, they're all here. And then countless, I always like to bring in spirit beings in the spirit world, astral realm, ethereal realm, so forth. And I can't remember where I was reading, but one Lama was saying you can just think of all the spaces in between the six realms, different bardos, places. So the spirit realm and our realm, of course, are just completely, again, interbeing, interpenetrated. So we can feel that all these sort of gods and ghosts and you know, dragons and fairies and everybody's here with us as well. And then countless beings in lower states of rebirth, different beings in sort of terrible states, hungry ghost beings and different hell beings from those lower realms. But when they're here together, we can sort of look out in the audience here. Everybody's sort of blissed out and happy. And there's a real sort of positive vibe for us to meditate together. And of course, everybody's like, super, wow, thank you so much for leading the puja, everybody. There's like a real sense of gratitude we all have with each other to spending our Saturday morning here for 1 hour doing Dharma. We're not just watching Netflix or surfing the internet, watching, YouTube or Netflix or shopping online. Not that that's bad, but I'm just saying we're taking 60 minutes of our time this morning to really, really develop bodhicitta and send out good Dharma energy to all beings. So this is the space we look in above us and in front of us. We can visualize in the sky, beautiful pure energy, sort of this beautiful vision we have. In this case, we will visualize the Lama Chopa merit field. So out of a incredibly large, beautiful tree, like a world tree uniting lower realms, middle realms, and upper realms, or just like a big, they always say like, big oak tree or ash tree or a banyan tree or so forth. This is coming out of Lake Manasarovar, the holiest lake in the world, right near Mount Kailash in Tibet. And so even in our visualization here, it's most of the sky when we're looking, just sort of us and also means we're looking up. It's just like this huge, beautiful spectacle, like this, again, almost like a big weather system or the sun breaking through the clouds. So the central figure, there's 3 lineage trees or refuge trees in the Gelugpa tradition, ones that we use. Not just 1, 3, so you have your pick. And in this case, we have the central figure being Lama Loseng Tubeng Dorje Chong. So this was the vision that the famous Mahasiddha and yogi and great scholar Chökyi Dorje, I can't remember his stage, you can look that up, also called Dharma Vajra. He's the one that saw Tsongkhapa in a vision in his practice, being the 3 beings of Tsongkhapa and Buddha and Vajradhara. This is what they call the Ensa lineage, or the sort of ear whispered or sort of heart advice, heart teachings from teacher to student that was passed on from Tsongkhapa to Japa Gyatso to Baso Chiki Gelson, who was Japa Gyatso's nephew and so forth, and this coming down to our day. So we can just feel all the teachings we're getting from our teacher, the sort of heart advice, in particular, all the teachings on emptiness and Mahamudra are the sort of the nectar that's being passed down to us, the medicine. So this central figure here, Loseng Tubeng Dorje Chong, represents that. So we can feel that Tsongkhapa is in lotus position. He's got a begging bowl in his left hand, this nectar. Right hand is holding a, in the teaching mudra, so with the index finger touching thumb, fingers up, holding beautiful white lotus around his ear. And him representing, in this case, just sort of the Hinayana paths, which are the foundation of our practice, which is sincerity, moral discipline, concentration, wisdom, realizing emptiness, and so forth. And again, like they always say, that this is the outer part. When people meet you, this is kind of the energy interface they should have with you when they meet you in public, like how you're acting on the bus or in Starbucks or walking around Walmart. This is kind of the energy you're putting out, that you're very sort of have so much integrity, sincere, kind, good, upstanding, ethical person, and you have good mindfulness. And again, always thinking, meditating on emptiness every chance you get. So in his heart is the inner form. So if this is the outer form, the inner form, which is Buddha Shakyamuni. Buddha, as we usually visualize him, with golden body, lotus position, 3 robes of a monk, with a begging bowl in his left hand, and then his right hand touching the earth in the Sagun Mudra. You see, sort of overcoming all this, the maras or sort of negative demons of his mind. Also grounding himself, you can see touching the earth as a witness to his practice and also support. And again, we can just think for ourselves that this is again the inner motivation of our practice, which is bodhicitta. So again, you don't run around saying that you're an amazing marble superhero person, that everything you do is motivated by love and compassion. Aren't I so wonderful? Like, you have no idea how much I love everybody. Da, 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 da. Of course, it's just like rather than being that way, it's the inner practice where everything we do, first of all, is if everything affects everybody, all things in the world, what's the best path for everybody in that case? Well, it's love and compassion. And in particular, great compassion that leads to full awakening of all beings. That's our Bodhicitta motivation. And then finally, at Buddha's heart is his higher form, the angelic or Sambhogakaya form of Vajradhara and Vajradhara, so sort of yin and yang, boyfriend, girlfriend. They're in sexual embrace. They have beautiful sapphire blue bodies, and they're wearing crowns and beautiful jewelry and so forth. And Vajradhara has a dorje bell, so bell in his left hand, dorje in his right. And Vajradhara, she's got a skull cap with medicinal nectar in her left hand, and right hand has a chopping knife. She's got her arms around his neck, and he has his arms around her back like that. We have mudra. This, of course, representing to us our secret or sort of more intimate side of our life, the most absolute personal, which is your tantric practice. And of course, if we're looking at changing reality directly, how can you share that with anybody else? Who would believe you? I mean, what would that be anyone else's business anyway? So this is sort of the most heart practice of our, like I say, the most deepest, more intimate thing is the idea of transforming appearances into pure things. Tantra is about overcoming ordinary conception and ordinary appearance. In other words, how we intellectually engage with things, and most of all, how things appear to you, what they actually look like to you, how they show up to you in your experience. In this case, we want everything to be blissful and pure and beautiful. So we can just think, looking at this figure, just sort of everything going in. So it's almost like you're taking in your Hinayana pass into a deeper way of Mahayana, and then going right into the Vajrayana teachings. And we can also have a little motivation that may I be able to practice the higher Vajrayana teachings, time and vehicle practice of Anuttara Yoga. We can just think that may I one day have the karma to be able to do the sort of deepest practices with my most subtle mind of clear light. Right now we're meditating in emptiness and doing all our practice with more of a coarse mind, more of an intellectual mind. Be able to take everything deeper in our most subtle mind, almost the deepest part of our soul, and unify things on that level. So here we go, looking at our central figure. Now on our left is, Tsongkhapa's right, is Buddha of love and kindness, Maitreya. Golden body hold with a crown in lotus position in bodhisattva form. He's got the eternal wheel of Dharma mudra, so both fingers touch his thumbs at his heart, holding two white lotuses. And around him are people from all last 2,500 years or so, men and women, everybody that have taught the compassion or vast path of Buddhist teachings. All the stuff on bodhicitta, and in particular the mind-only school of emptiness. So we can think of Arya Sangha and Vasubandhu, great saints like that. Then on the other side, on our right, or Tsongkhapa's left, same thing is, since that Manjushri Buddha of wisdom appears in bodhisattva form, so he's in lotus position, where he's got a crown on, and he's got his hands in the eternal wheel of Dharma mudra, two white lotuses at his shoulders, and he's surrounded by all the teachers last 25 years that have taught the profound path of Buddhism, all the wisdom teachings on emptiness. In particular, the Madhyamika school or middle way school. And so we can visualize great saints like Nagarjuna and Chanakirti and so forth. Now in front of Lama Loseng Dorje-chan is our root teacher and sort of our main teachers of this life. Of him showing sort of their identity, that all these great Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and saints of old sort of are appearing to us with our deluded, doubtful, skeptical, cynical minds, at least speaking for myself, in the form of our teachers, giving us the personal advice in our day-to-day lives, how to walk the path. So all these amazing people that have been with us our whole life, that are still with us, teaching us and guiding us, they're all manifestations of the Buddhas. So we're honoring them by putting them right in front of the central figure here. And then rows down in the tree, we can just feel all the other holy beings. So the Buddhas of the four classes of Tantra, for instance, 16 Arhats, 1,000 Buddhas of this fortune aeon, the kings of the 24 places, different Dharma protectors, Dharmapalas, they're all here with us. And then over above Tsongkhapa, it's those 5 lineages of sort of tantric teachings, the main tantric teachings. So we can just feel that just on our side here on the left is sort of going, we have Goya Samaja, then we have Haruka, then we have the sort of whispered ear lineage of Mahamudra appearing as Vajradhara, and then sort of the totem pole of, so to speak, is sort of the river of different teachers that go down are actually all in the form of Manjushri. And then Atisha from the 16 heart drop of the Kadampas, and then finally Yamantaka. So if we just sort of look up, we can see just sort of quickly, just with our mind, Goya Samaja, 6 arms, he's in lotus position with his consort. They're all holding beautiful implements, and he's sort of a dark blue with the crown. Next one over is Haruka is beautiful blue, standing up, just 2-arm Haruka with Dorje and Bell, and his consort Vajra Yogini is sort of in sexual embrace with her legs around his waist. Vajradhara solo, holding a Dorje and Bell, beautiful blue body. Atisha, beautiful Bengali, sort of founder of the Kadampa tradition in Tibet. He's sort of just like Tsongkhapa monk in 3 robes. With a yellow pan's hat, again with the turn of the wheel mudra at his heart. And finally, Yamantaka, Buddha of wisdom, has a sort of buffalo head, big bull's head, and he's on fire. He's dark blue, and he's holding a skull cup with his left hand and right hand, chopping knife. So this is just like amazing, as Robert Thurman says, Professor Thurman, a beautiful Christmas tree. So this is like the big Rockefeller Christmas tree that you get in New York, all the beautiful implements and lights and toys and everything, same kind of thing. There's all these wonderful angel beings and Buddhas here, just all sort of different colors and energies and so forth. And just looking at it, we just get totally blissed out. So just leading refuge, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the highest assembly. From the virtuous merit that I collect by practicing giving the other perfections, may I attain the state of Buddha, be able to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge to enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the highest assembly. From the virtuous merit that I collect by practicing giving the other perfections, may I attain the state of Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge to enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the highest assembly. From the virtuous merit that I collect by practicing giving the other perfections, may I attain the state of Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. So at this point, everything we can just feel is just in its nature, like empty space. It's almost like if you get the sky, but at the same time, you might get rainbows in the sky or sundogs if you're on the prairies. We have this beautiful sort of empty space down, and everything's sort of appearing. We've got our beautiful refuge tree in ourselves. We're just going to visualize. We sort of arise. If you want, you can arise as your Yidam meditation deity. But if you don't have that, or if it's just easier for you, you can visualize that you now arise as Buddha Shakyamuni, and all sentient beings around you are Buddhas, different sort of Buddhist angels, if you'd like. So in this case, we have just a beautiful mandala of pure things, absolutely pure, beautiful things. So us, if we're visualizing ourselves as Buddha Shakyamuni, we're made out of golden energy, 3 robes of a monk with the begging bowl in our left hand and right hand touching the earth. Just like if you see in Nepal when they do all the butter lamp offerings, you have like 1 million candles out. It's the same thing. Just imagine ourselves. It's just like we're us and all sentient beings. We're now manifesting as these Buddhas, the pure golden energy. And then in front of us is this gigantic vision of the refuge tree for Lama Chopa. Rising within the sphere of great bliss, I manifest as Guru Yidam from my clear body in light profusion, radiates forth throughout the 10 directions, blessing all places and beings therein. All becomes most perfectly arranged with only qualities infinitely pure. From exalted white virtuous mind, I and other sentient beings vast as space, from now until full enlightenment, seek refuge in the Gurus and the 3 jewels. Namo Guru Be, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. For the sake of all other sentient beings, I transform into a Guru Yidam, and thus shall I lead all sentient beings to Guru Yidam's enlightenment. So again, this is kind of like stealing our beautiful Bodhicitta motivation. for ourselves, even as Buddhas, we can just visualize that if, we're manifesting as Buddha Shakyamuni, but at our heart, our body's completely hollow. It's just made of pure energy. But at our heart now is a moon disk, small sort of white moon disk. And on it is a dorje made out of white light. And this represents our bodhicitta motivation. So we can just feel now that, everything we do in this life, everything we're doing this morning, may it be for the benefit of all sentient beings, for their enlightenment. Just take a moment to generate even just a motivation here that we'll do the best we can in this life to really, really put effort into trying to become enlightened. Get as close as we can to that ideal through practice. For the sake of all mother sentient beings, I shall swiftly in this very lifetime become a primordial Guru Yidam. To lead mother beings from suffering to the supreme bliss of Buddhahood, I shall now practice the most profound path. Yes, it's Guru Yidam Yoga. Om Ahom, Om Ahom, Om Ahom. Pure clouds of outer inner secret offerings, objects with binders close, and fields of vision pervade the reaches of space, earth, and sky, spreading up beyond the range of thought. In essence, the pristine awareness and aspect inner offerings of various objects of offering, their function is to generate the extraordinary pristine awareness of voidness and bliss as objects to be enjoyed by the six senses. And here's our refuge tree we've just been visualizing. So again, just in our mind's eye, just looking at the tree, going through the details. Dwelling in the vast heavens of bliss and voidness unified, amidst billowing clouds of Samantha offerings, cresting a wish-granting tree embellished with leaves, flowers, and fruit, rests a lion throne ablaze with the ornate forms of precious gems. Upon a lotus sun and full moon sits my Guru in all three ways. In essence, you're all Buddhas, an aspect of saffron-robed monk. Having one face and two arms, you bear a white and radiant smile. Your right hand is in the gesture of expounding the Dharma. Your left in equipoise mudra cradles a bowl of nectar, draped with 3 robes of saffron, crowned by a golden pannet's hat. Within your heart is the all-pervading Lord Vajradhara within a blue body and color, having one face and 2 arms, with a Vajra and bell embracing Vajradhatu Ishvari. They delight in the play of simultaneous voidness and bliss, adorned with jewel ornaments and garments of heavenly silk. Emblazoned with the major and minor marks of a Buddha, radiant thousands of light rays, you sit in the Vajra pose. Brilliantly, you are inhaled by 5 colored rainbows. Totally pure, your skandhas are the 5 Buddhas gone to bliss. The 4 elements are the 4 motherly wisdom consorts. Your 5 sense bases, your energy channels, sinews, and joints are in reality all noble 8 bodhisattvas. All the hairs of your pores are the 21,000 arhats. Your limbs are powerful, mighty, wrathful protectors. Light rays, directional guardians, lords of wealth and attendants. All worldly gods are but cushions for your lotus feet. Surrounding the orders and encircling sea of actual and lineage gurus, yidams and meditation, mandala deities, Buddhas, bodhisattvas, viras, dakinis, and protectors. The doors reach are marked by the 3 adorning vajras, and from their syllable hum, light rays go out hook-like, draw forth the wisdom beings from their bowls that they may become united. Oh, you are the everlasting source of all goodness, bliss, and perfection. Oh, root and lineage gurus, yidams, 3 sublime jewels, viras, dakinis, dharmapalas, protectors, with an entourage of the 3 times. By the power of your compassion, please come forth and steadfastly remain. Though all things are totally free of inherent coming and going, still you rise to the virtuous conduct of wisdom and loving compassion, whatsoever form is suited to the temperament of your disciples. O most holy refuge protectors, please come forth with your vast entourage. Om Guru Buddha Bodhisattva Dharmapala Saparivar Hai Hi Za Om Bam Hom. Wisdom and symbolic beings become non-dual. Okay, so just for the sake of time, I'm just going to get everybody just to do visualizations here. We're just, for the prostration part, we can just visualize that we're just sort of making prostrations to the refuge tree in our mind. This beautiful Lama looks into Big Dorje Chang, and you can just be sort of making just feel that we're just leading all sentient beings doing prostrations. And at the same time, we can also feel that that's sort of that's the physical prostration, verbal prostration. We can be singing praises and doing dharanis and mantras. And then the mental prostration is just having the absolute gratitude, love, and respect to seeing all this beautiful refuge tree in front of us, which represents sort of our highest Buddhism, Buddha nature. Now I'll recite some of the offering verses here, but you can just start with the visualization for the outer offerings. So when I read it, you can be doing this. So for the 8 outer offerings, we can just feel that we've got beautiful wisdom, knowledge goddesses coming from our heart, and gods, if you like. You can have both of them, men and women here, everybody making offerings. So what I like to do is just visualize it as being like a circle of energy. So the goddesses go out and sort of circle around, make the offering to the Refuge tree, and then come back and dissolve into you. So they always say that the goddesses have 4 arms. So the outer arms hold the door Jane bell, and then the inner arms actually at their heart have the offering. From our mind's eye here, first of all, we're sending up beautiful Snow White goddesses, gods and goddesses, and they're holding for water for drinking beautiful vessels of clear spring water. So that they're sort of going out, making offerings to the mirror field and coming back. So more white goddesses are coming out, this time offering water for washing. So just sort of clear, sort of warm water and so forth to wash your feet, your hands, and your face. Now more Snow White goddesses are coming out this time with flower offerings. So you just feel that they're throwing beautiful blossoms and petals in the air, and they have bouquets of flowers and garlands and so forth. Now smoke-colored goddesses are coming out with incense. So they can have it sort of more Asian or Tibetan style, where they've got sticks of incense in a little pot, or you can have it where it's almost like an Orthodox Christianity, where they've got the big sort of bowl of incense that they're swinging back and forth for the frankincense to purify the whole environment. Ruby red goddesses are coming out now, making offerings. They've got light offerings, so they have candles and lamps and so forth. They can have Japanese lanterns on a stick, whatever you'd like to visualize. So sea green perfume goddesses are coming out. We've got beautiful bowls of essential oils and perfumes. And multicolored, so rainbow colored goddesses coming out for the food offerings, and they're sort of holding bowls of nectar. Just think beautiful nectar, almost like a beautiful juice or a smoothie or something. That just sort of a holy divine nectar that they're offering up. And then finally, you can think baby blue goddesses are coming out this time making music. So they're coming out and they can be singing and dancing and playing music or so forth. Circling back and dissolving into our heart as Buddha. So I'll recite this, but refuge protectors with your entourage, so you can just keep visualizing here. Clouds of offerings we present from vast, well-fashioned precious vessels. Flow forth gently the 4 streams of pure nectar. Flowers and trees, bouquets and gardens exquisitely fill the earth and the sky. Heavens billow with blue summer clouds, lazulite smoke from sweet fragrant incense. Light from suns, moons, jewels, and flaming lamps dispels darkness of countless billion worlds. Vast seas of perfume swirl endlessly, fragrant camphor, saffron, and sandalwood. Delightful food of 100 flavors, feasts of gods and humans bask at LamRim. Music coming from diverse instruments blends with harmonies filling the 3 realms. 105 sense goddesses with their offerings pervade all directions. Refuge protectors, wealth and compassion, eminent and supreme field of merit. This is offering the mandala at our heart here. We present you with pure devotion, countless mount mirrors and continents, the 7 precious royal emblems, precious minor symbols, and more. Delightful realms and those there dwelling, treasures of wealth and gods of humans. To please you, venerable gurus, we offer these diverse objects, both actual knows and vision, as a pleasure grove of all captivating on the shores of a wish-granting sea. Strewn with 1,000 petals of lotuses, these are the offerings arising from white virtues, worldly and divine. Flowers and profusion scattered everywhere are the virtues of the 3 gateways of ourselves and those of all others, dwelling in this world and those beyond. It is infused mirrored fragrances of Samantha Badra's offerings, laden with fruit, 3 trains, 2 stages, and the 5 great paths. We offer lightly scented China tea, a libation the color of saffron, steeped in 100 subtle flavors. This is 5 hooks, 5 lamps, and so forth. It's purified, transformed, and increased into a vast ocean nectar. We offer concerts fair and beautiful, hosts a messenger dakinis born in place mantra, and simultaneously having graceful center figures aglow with radiant, youthful, vibrant, skilled in the 64 arts of love. We offer the voice sphere of all things, supreme, ultimate bodhicitta, beyond all words, thoughts, and expressions, spontaneous and indivisible, free of notions of true existence, pristine clearness, unified with bliss. We offer various potent medicines, a cure for the 400 afflictions. Sorry, here. Your pleasing service we devote ourselves. Please keep us as long as the heavens endure. We now lay bare with regretful mind, this is the end of the 7 months here, before the eyes of greatly compassionate ones, whatsoever deeds unwholesome, bound to misfortune committed from beginningless time, those rejoicing, causing others, and we vow never to commit them again. Though all things are like dream illusions, have no inherent or natural existence, we sincerely rejoice in the joys, happiness, and arias and worldly beings, in every white and virtuous deed that has ever arisen throughout the 3 times. May the rings of Dharma, vast and profound, descend from 100,000 clouds, billowing sublime wisdom, loving compassion, to thereby nurture, sustain, and propagate in a garland of radiant moonflowers for the benefit and bliss of limitless beings. Your immortal Vajra body is a vessel of union's mighty victory. To accord with our wishes, we request you to abide with us forever by sustaining emanations, pass not beyond sorrow until samsara's end. The collection of white virtues thereby create, we sincerely dedicate that we may through all of our lives and be inseparably protected by noble gurus who possess the 3 great kindnesses. Thus may we attain Vajradhara's unity. I prostrate and go for refuge to the Guru and the precious sublime jewels. Please bless my mind stream. Please bless me in all sentient beings to stop mental distortions quickly from not having devotion to our virtuous guides, to having subtle dualistic vision of white, red, and darkness. May we easily generate the non-distorted states of mind for having devotion to our virtuous guides to attain the unified state of momentarily. Okay, so finally, we'll just do a quick thing here. We'll recite the requests to the gurus, and then we'll do the dissolution meditation and some bit of mantra work before we do a few teachings here. So again, just it's almost like we're charging up here. We're looking at us and all sentient beings here as Buddhas. We're looking up at the beautiful refuge tree with the central figure of Loseng Tupai Dorje Chan. And we can also just think that all these gurus are here in the tree with Tsongkhapa. So we can just feel just from Buddha all the way to our own present Guru, Zasep Rinpoche, and our other teachers here, that they're all present in this tree. So we're making requests of them. And it's almost like opening the floodgates, or opening the door to these blessings from the time of Buddha Shakyamuni all the way going through all these different Buddhist countries, in particular we can think for us from India, and then through Nepal and into Tibet, and then eventually from Tibet coming to North America, to the US and Canada, and so forth, and from our teachers, and to us here now on a Saturday morning, these visualizations. So all these great saints, it's like Sangha and Nagarjuna, to all the great Mahasiddhas, 84 Mahasiddhas in India, and finally to the Tibet with the new and old Kadampa lineages coming out to our teachers. So right now we can almost have this mind of great, great devotion and gratitude. Recite these verses here. We make our request to you, holders of the Elders Vinaya, Master Second Buddhas, clad in saffron, source of excellence, treasure of jewels of learning, ocean of moral discipline. We make our request to you, lords of Mahayana Dharma, and boy the conquerors, having the 10 rare qualities, rendering you perfect guides in the path of those gone to bliss. We make our request to you, foremost holders of the Vajra, bearing 20 skills of Tantra, master of speech and composing, honorable, without pretension, patient with the 3 doors subdued. We make our request to you, compassionate protectors, with precision you impart the good way of those gone to bliss, those of generate times untamed by the Buddhas of the past. We make our request to you, compassionate protectors. You enact the victor's deeds for those who lack a protector at this time when the sunlight teaching of the sage are setting. We make our request to you, compassionate protectors. Just one hair on your pores is for us a merit field, more praiseworthy than the victors of 10 times and 3 times in 10 regions. We make our request to you, compassionate protectors, manifest in earthly guise, a weave of illusion like skillful means, having 3 adorning wheels of those thus gone, lead beings. We make our request to you, essence of the 3 supreme jewels. In nature, your aggregate senses, limbs, and elements are lords and consorts, bodhisattvas, guardians of the 5 families. We make our request to you, foremost holders of the Vajra, Lord omniscient of all families, host of primordial unity, play of pristine awareness, essence of countless mandalas. We make our request to you, Immaculate Samantabhadra, ultimate Bodhicitta, free of beginning or end, pervading nature of all things in motion and at rest, inseparable from the undefiled play of simultaneous bliss. Single point of request here. You can just say this once from our heart. You are our gurus, you are our yidams, you are dakinis and dharmapalas. From this moment to our enlightenment, we shall seek no refuge other than you, in this life, the bardo, and all future lives. Hold us with your hook of compassion, free us from samsara and nirvana spheres, grant us your supreme attainment, be our steadfast friend and guard us against all harmful interferences. So it says, by the force of having thus requested, nectars and rays of white, red, and dark blue stream forth one by one all together, centers of the Guru's body, speech, and mind. They absorb in our three centers one by one, then all together. Four defilements are completely purged. Yes, in the form empowerments received. In this way, we have implanted the seed to accomplish the four kayas. Then the Guru emanation comes forth to us, and we're blessed with his inspiration. Okay, so let's do the visualization for this. So we've made our request from our heart. Please grant us your blessings. That's sort of the empowerment, spiritual power, empowerment here. So first of all, from Lama Chopa Rinpoche's crown, you can feel this light's kind of coming from all the Buddhists in the Refuge tree, but it's just this sort of central figures doing the big beam of light. So the other ones, it's kind of like little beams of white light coming down into us, but sort of the central, kind of like a searchlight beam from his head, from his crown, is coming down into our crown. So sort of beautiful snow white light, soft energy coming down from his crown into our crown, and it's filling our whole body. So even if we're sort of Buddha Shakyamuni here, where we've got sort of a hollow body made of energy, it's all changing color now, becoming white, snow white. Called the Boss empowerment here, purifying our body. Just the things in particular from the 10 non-virtuous actions of our body, just purifying the karma of killing, of us killing the bugs or all the things that we've sort of hurt and killed in this life. Sexual misconduct, you're hurting people through sex or emotional issues or sort of intimate ways of hurting people. Stealing, taking anything without it being freely offered to us. All this karma is being purified. In particular, is giving us the seed or the karma to manifest, to get enlightened as the Buddha, but to manifest with the Nirmanakaya, emanation body of the Buddha. It's the fact that once we're a Buddha, we can manifest as sort of an angel in people's lives. We can just sort of be whatever that person needs to understand the Dharma at any point in their life. Any sentient being, we can offer this to them. Now, ruby red light's coming down from all the different Buddhas into us, in particular from the throat of Lama Chopa Tsongkhapa's throat into our throats, being a ruby red light. And this is purifying the speech. So our whole body is sort of ruby red now. So we're just like a ruby red Buddha Shakyamuni. And we just feel again that our speech is purified. All the gossip, talking on people's back, all the stupid things we say, arguing politics and just wasting people's time. Hurtful speech, hurting people's feelings, saying mean things. Divisive speech, whether it be through politics or acting in ways that split people, split others up from us, push people away, these kinds of things. And then lying, just even all the little lies we have, the little tiny lies we have, we're exaggerating things or sort of omitting things or whatever, being untruthful. All this is being completely purified. And for the secret initiation that we're receiving, we just feel that we're creating karma, that when we get enlightened, we will manifest the Sambhogakaya, or angel, or beatific body of Buddhas, which means we will appear as beautiful Buddhas, like in their angelic form, in their mandala houses, in their pure realms or Buddha universes in the world, to give sort of more astral or psychic teachings to beings that have that mind. And beings take rebirth in these beautiful pure lands that we're manifesting to continue to study with us till they become Buddhas who manifest in mandalas and Buddha universes too. Now the lights, blue, beautiful lapis blue lights coming down from blessing us and all the beings around us, in particular from the heart, Tsongkhapa's heart into our heart. This is the Dharmakaya, so wisdom. And this is our mind, purified. So all the attachment, covetousness, wanting what we don't have, and sort of that big black hole at the center of us a lot of times, we're completely dissatisfied and craving and kind of addicted and messed up, and that's all sort of getting purified. And then malice, just all our mind when we're just really, really negative kind of evil, where we're just like totally hating people or the world or whatever. Malice is defined as wanting someone to suffer. So just anytime you've got really bad thoughts about other people, other beings, or even about ourselves, that's malice. And both of those are two very, very heavy mental karmas that really sort of poison our mind. And this is all being sort of flushed out of us. We're like this beautiful lapis Buddha now here. And again, giving us the karma for Dharmakaya, which is the wisdom truth body of the Buddhas, which means once we're enlightened, we know all objects in the universe simultaneously, and we also simultaneously perceive emptiness directly. So we have a mind that's as vast as space, meditating on non-inherence of all phenomena, yet at the same time we know everything in the universe, and particularly know all sentient beings in their minds, and we love them all and forgive them all and want them to get enlightened just like us. And finally, fourth empowerment, white and red, white, red, and blue lights coming down. It's almost like a July 4th with a firework display in the United States, red, white, and blue, all beautiful sort of lights coming down. And it's coming down from Tsongkhapa and our three places, crown, throat, and heart simultaneously. So our Buddha body is now red, white, and blue. Just think again, all your body, speech, and mind is being purified, and all the negative karma, body, speech, and mind, kind of in its totality, it's being purified. And what we're getting is the fourth body of the Buddhas, Baba Kaya body, which is, I think that's how you pronounce it. I always get that wrong, but what they call the nature entity body of the Buddhas, which is basically the three other bodies of the Buddha, Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Yamantaka. They are empty. So this is just that the bodies of the Buddha, just like everything else, have their own emptiness. So this is the cessation, or the great medicine, the big medicine that cures all of our problems, which is emptiness, which is one with everything anyway, but now we're sort of receiving it directly into us. Okay, now let's do the dissolution. So we're all kind of blissed out here, and all Buddhas, and we can just now visualize that the merit field in front of us starts to melt into light. So again, if you wake up early in the wintertime, sort of like a late fall, and it's all lots of dew and frost on the ground, and the sun comes up, it's nice and hot, you see all the mist coming up out of the valley, same kind of thing, that we're going to start to dissolve everything sort of into light. And it's in the same way of merit field here. So Lake Benesrovar and the trees start to melt, the golden light dissolving into all the little Buddhas and angels and gurus in the sky. So now they're all floating in the sky like a big constellation, like the Milky Way. And now we can just feel that all the Buddhas in front of Tsongkhapa start to go sort of melt inwards and then dissolve into our teachers. This life in particular, then it melts into our root teacher. It melts into Tsongkhapa, melts into the Bodhicitta. We can feel on either side of Tsongkhapa all the gurus of compassion and wisdom melt into Maitreya and Manjushri, who become balls of light and sort of move in and dissolve into Tsongkhapa. And now the gurus at the top, 5 different sort of tantric lineages start to melt into light, dissolve into Tsongkhapa too. So now it's just Tsongkhapa Buddha and the divine couple, Vajra and Vajradhari. So then we can visualize even that Tsongkhapa melts into golden light, sort of dissolves into his heart, into Buddha. Buddha melts into light, dissolves into Vajra and Vajradhatishvari. So now they're just in the sky like a beautiful blue diamond or sapphire, emitting beautiful rainbow lights, very sort of soft. And they come to the crown. I always like they say it's kind of like, it's nice to visualize as a shooting star, but shooting stars, of course, go really fast. So we don't want it to, it seems kind of like, I don't know, it's like someone's going to hit you with something. So it's kind of nice to be a little bit slower, kind of in slow motion. So, you know, the Vajra and Vajradhatishvari sort of come to the crown of our head. And they turn around, facing the same direction as us. And they're really small. They're only about the size of a sunflower seed. To the crown of our head. We got a pure lighter energy. It's easy for them to do this. And dissolve into our heart. Again, just like dropping a sugar cube in hot water, just feel that they instantly melt. Again, just you put the piece of butter in the hot frying pan and it melts right away into our heart. All the wisdom, the compassion, the power of the Buddha dissolves instantly into us. This whole sort of lineage of sort of energy and teachings and wisdom from Buddha all the way to us is directly injected into our mind, our most subtle mind at our heart chakra here. Great, great spaciousness, luminosity. Like I say, joy and bliss, in the sense that that bliss being a sense of complete peace, satisfaction, and totality, feeling one with everything. And joy is sort of this pregnant power, creativity, sort of an upwelling of energy or love. So just slowly coming out of meditation now. Okay, so there isn't much today. There's just a few little points I wanted to make, and again, we can just I'll just sort of present them, and then we can take a moment just to meditate on them and do dedication. So in this class here, which is a very sort of short class, which is qualities of the Dharma. So how do I know what good qualities are in the Dharma, or just if someone's presenting a Dharma teaching, you know, whatever, let's say I'm going online, just like me, like whatever, just like how do you know that the teaching is authentic, that's really Dharma that's being presented. If I meet Dharma teachers or a new Dharma community, or sort of go online or go to some, like I said, YouTube video or whatever, or a conference call and someone's teaching Buddhism. As long as I can see Rinpoche had a good thing, it's not on this, but he talked about the 4 seals of Buddhism, which, you know, it's always important to know. You know, you have to know what the 4 Arya Truths are and the Eightfold Path is. But the other one, of course, is this is in addition to what I'm teaching here, but just the 4 seals of Buddhism. You know, basically, we have to know that all things are impermanent, that anything dualistic or sort of mixed with attachment, sort of, sometimes people even say sort of emotional content or whatever you want to call it, is a cause of suffering, that nirvana is peace and nirvana is beyond extremes. So sort of a middle way. So those sort of 4 things, that's a little bit of a short form of it. And I don't have more details in front of me, so that's not sort of the best presentation. But as Dzongkar Khyentse said that you can have some big teacher, Buddhist teacher, on robes on a throne, and some temple somewhere that you go to the class, whatever, you go to class or some big Dharma festival, And if the teachings this person's giving or whatever, the group that's giving, if it's missing those four things, or doesn't have, it only has one of them, it doesn't have the others, that or even that teachings are contradicting those four things, then even though there's Buddhist statues everywhere, and it's like, oh, His Holiness the Very Venerable Matthew Richards is teaching us, you can kind of sort of, that's your that's your, I don't say your bullshit detector, that's a little bit vulgar, but just if those things aren't in the teachings, then right away you know that there's a problem, that basically the question of this doesn't sound like pure Dharma to me, right? Then you can ask questions, hey, I thought four seals of Buddhism. So that's the one. And then Zonsei Kensei said is that if a guy is teaching you how to surf, there's some old hippie guy in Maui with dreadlocks or whatever, and he's teaching you how to surf, but in his instructions on how to surf, those four things are present, those four seals, then that's pure Dharma, which is funny. So even though it's, let's say, surfing or whatever else, it has the qualities of being pure Dharma. So those are four things to look for that. But for the qualities of the Dharma, the first thing we always look for is it needs an authentic source. So the teachers, Buddha and the teachings must have been stated by the Buddha. And so technically, whenever we get Dharma teachings, we always have to be able to sort them somehow to the sutras or teachings of the Buddha or Dharmapada. And we have to know, sort of as Buddha's students, where to sort of access this information, or how our Buddhist teachers have to be able to sort of trace everything back. So in the Theravada tradition, they're very, very good at doing this, of course. But with us, what we have a lot of times in the Gelugpa traditions, we're studying LamRim, and it's commentaries on commentaries. So the Tengar and Kangar, basically we're reading commentaries from lamas on great saints in India who are writing commentaries of the sutra. So it keeps kind of getting backed up a little bit. Sometimes you wonder, well, is this really what Buddha said? But if they're, of course, the sort of authentic stuff that we get here from great commentators, they always quote Buddha. They can always trace everything back. Another thing Geshe Michael says here in the Asian Classics Institute, which I think is really, really good, is that this is, again, I think important, is Buddha is omniscient. Like in a sense that Buddha, because Buddha is perceiving emptiness and dependent arising directly, nothing needs updating. Everything is true in the Dharma. Buddha sees things directly, not indirectly or inductively. And so technically it's interesting, even on a Dharmakaya level, the Buddhas are here right now with their omniscient mind. Their minds can cognize all objects of knowledge wherever their mind is, their body is necessarily. So I always like to say that when we're visualizing the Buddhas in the refuge tree, even though we can't see them here right now. Why? Because the Buddha's mind is perceiving us, and a Buddha's mind and body are the same thing. So what's interesting is that Dharma teachings, they're good for all times, because Buddha can even see when he's teaching in India 2,500 years ago, time's just an illusion. He can say, well, in the 21st century is going to be a group of people on Zoom studying Lama Chopa, this and that. So technically the teachings are good even for these people. And our dear friend, David Gonzalez, he was very sweet. He always said, well, the one thing, at least, no matter what science proves or what cultural values change, whatever, the two most important teachings, the one in Sutra is Bodhicitta and Emptiness, seeing the thing. That's always true. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are, at what point in history, that's always true. And you can demonstrate it logically, which we'll look into as we go along. And the other thing is for Tantra, meditations on the central channel. That's always true, because when you start doing it, you'll see instantly that it works. When you start doing any kind of higher tantric practice, you'll start getting an energetic feedback to show you that something's happening. So technically, these teachings are always good. Nowadays, we always want to update everything. And I hear, I don't sound too conservative, but over and over again, people always say, oh, Matthew, everything has to be, it's new times. We have to change everything. Well, it's like the container can change, but we have to make sure that the nectar, the soup, or the drink in the container is still the same one, and that we're not changing that. At the end of the Vinaya Sutra, Buddha says famously on ethical rules that these rules will change according to custom, country, and time. So, the container can always change, but the teachings we always have to make sure are the same. And the reason is because, again, Buddha was omniscient, and what he was saying is always true, doesn't need updating. So the other ones is even just breaking down what kind of teachings we get from the Buddha. So there's 4 kinds of teachings in all Buddhist teachings. So we can even sort of see what we're studying when we're studying. So there is number one is the Vinaya teaching. So if we have even the three baskets where we have the Vinaya, then we have the Abhidharma teachings, and then we have the Sutra teachings. These sort of four go into these three baskets. The first one, of course, being the Vinaya, is that a lot of Buddhist teachings that we can study are just teachings on different ethical precepts on how to be a good person, what kind of behavior we need to adopt as a Buddhist. There's 8 different types of vows, in the sense of different systems of vows we can take, whether we're a ordained person like a monk or a nun, or a lay person like we are here. Other teachings are the perfection wisdom teachings that we get on emptiness. Then there are, the third one would be Sutra teachings, all the different sort of sutric teachings Buddha gave on different topics, different ways of meditating, let's say, concentration meditations, this and that. And then, of course, the fourth one would be the tantric teachings or secret teachings, sort of on a sort of mystical level. Those are teachings. So when we're studying Buddhism, we have to even know, sort of orientate the teachings on where we're at or what we're getting. Which are those 4 ones are we doing right now? Then another thing we look for is are these teachings worthy of your time and cleared of errors by sages, in the sense that are these sort of, I don't want to say official teachings per se, but in the sense that ones that are time tested and true. If we look at the old saints and masters, we know a lot of these great, things change, of course, but we know that these ones are totally worth it, because people have been said. It's just like, is Shakespeare worth reading? We might not like Shakespeare, but we all know that that's sort of really, really good, really good literature. It stood the test of time. Then that people have done many, many commentaries have been influenced by them. So it's the same thing with this, is that the really, really good Buddhist sages or commentaries on the work and Buddhist teachings that we can go and see, we can say these are worth our time. These have been cleared of errors. It's not just my interpretation. A lot of times people put books out on Dharma where it's just their interpretation of Dharma, or it's like, Matthew, I've got a new book on my own opinion, or what I think Tantra is about, this and that. It's like, well, maybe that's not right. There's all sorts of mistakes in it. But if we get teachings on Tantra from, let's say, someone of the 84 Mahasiddhas, or let's say Nagarjuna's stuff on Goya Samanja Tantra, we can say, well, that's been around for 2,000 years, and everyone reads it, everyone loves it, everyone writes books on it. So we know that that's sort of a legitimate source. And then the final thing we look for whenever we're going to Dharma teachings and so forth is to see on a pragmatic level, does it work? In other words, has this lineage or group of teachings, has this tradition, has it actually produced realization? So in a lot of ways, this is a good thing that it brings. It's not just the Dharma teachings, but the people practicing it. And so what are the teachers like? What are the lineage groups like? Even what are the Sanghas like? So that's a big thing you can see sort of within any religious community. I remember years ago, an in-charge flight attendant told me what to look for at a martial arts still, which is a big martial arts guy. And I said, oh, well, what do you look for? And he said, when I walk in, I just look, not at the teacher, but I look at the students. Are they good people? Are they wholesome people? Like when I meet them, are they good? They're not weirdos or like super aggressive or whatever. When I talk to them or hang out with them after class, what are they like as people? And if they're really sincere, decent people, then I know the teacher's good. Like I know the whole community is good. So we can say the same thing here, is that in a lot of ways you can look at the Sangha and what are the realizations like, or experiences, or what are the lives like of the people living them that constitute the community. And then what are the teachers like? And then you can start to see, well, this is a really amazing Dharma community. These are really, really good people. It looks like these people are sort of progressing on the path. Well, then this is a good tradition of Buddhism, or this is a good sort of group of teachings of Buddhism. Like pragmatically, it's producing results. Okay, so that's that. So that's just a very sort of short class, just a few little things. Next week, again, I'll check back with everyone. See, I'm going to be in Japan, and I can't remember what time of the day I'm going to, like this class will be, if it's actually 1 in the morning in Japan or something. So I'll see. I'm going to sort of do a bit of research into it. But what I might do, if I can't make the class, I might even be flying at the time that the class is supposed to be here. I'll record the class in Japan and send it out to everybody. So, but let me just see. I'll be able to let everybody know this week. I just have to calculate where I am. And sometimes it's kind of hard to know. I have to sort of see. It's just not just with the day, because I'm 16 hours ahead there, right? So but I'll let everybody know. So, and the next class is just going to be on, we'll be having a class on renunciation. So we'll do another long meditation. I'm actually going to have to break that class up into two, because we're going to be teaching, the teaching will be on the 8 worldly dharmas, which alone is an amazing topic. So we'll probably break that into 2 weeks, just so we don't have to rush through it. Okay, so thanks everybody. Thanks for coming. Thanks for participating. And thanks for meditating with me. I think it's really, really wonderful. Really appreciate it. So let me just press, we'll just actually take a moment to dedicate. Of course, we've had a good motivation now with dedication. So just a quick one, just by blessings of all holy beings, all of our gurus, the truth of karma, of cause and effects, the power of our bodhicitta motivation, may all sentient beings get enlightened. Stop the recording.